Baymax is the newest short series on Disney+. This was announced during the Disney Investor Day back in 2020, along with a Moana, Zootopia, and Tiana series. Seeing at how many episodes were released of Baymax, it's also short in length. It's definitely the movies at a much smaller scale. Looking at the Zootopia Plus poster, it appears it will be 6 short episodes based on these 6 set of characters, which is fine. It's always nice to see something new with these movies after all these years. But Baymax is first. It's strange, a lot of people seem to be mixed with Big Hero 6 nowadays. When the movie first came out, I didn't really see much people talking about it. I only knew about it because I saw an ad for it while scrolling through the computer at school one day, just bored out of my mind. But honestly, I think the movie is pretty great. It has engaging characters, a cool story, and lots of great moments throughout. People's biggest problems with this movie is how it ends up trying to be a superhero story, with a villain that is more aggravating to watch rather than to feel sympathetic for. But it didn't really bother me too much. I still had a great time with it regardless. They then tried to make a 2D animated series a few years later, and I guess it did well? It lasted 3 seasons and finished last year, but I've heard nobody mention this at all. And now we've come to this, a 6-episode slice of life series focused on Baymax helping random people around the town with some sort of medical related problem, since he is a healthcare robot after all. So I'm gonna go through each episode in order. Let's get started. Each episode's title is the name of the patient Baymax deals with, the first being Cass. This is Hero's Aunt Cass, who runs a coffee shop. She had a minor role in the first movie, but it's shown that she's very popular and maintains a healthy and friendly relationship with her customers. That is until she trips over a step stool and sprains her ankle, causing Baymax to awaken and come to her need. He detects that she is gaining stress because she can't run the shop with a bad ankle, so he decides to run it for her. Slowly. She puts a camera on their cat so that she can attempt to spy on him to see if he's doing anything correctly, in which she then just ends up trying to do it herself. But she is able to accept not working for a bit because her customers only care about seeing her getting better and that she should focus on resting up. And it ends. Very simple story, but has a nice charm to it. Episode 2 is called Kiko. It deals with an older woman who hurts her hip. Baymax detects that she needs proper exercise to strengthen her muscles a bit, and recommends swimming. However, she seems to be avoiding it. So, he detects that she may have a fear of water and attempts to get her out of the house, each time rewarding her with a lollipop. After tricking her to go inside the swimming gym, she reveals that she isn't afraid of swimming, but that it reminds her of her late husband, who was a pro at it. To honor his memory, he decides to help her swim again, which encourages her. This one was more heartfelt, and I did like how it came together. Episode 3 is called Sophia, and it's the most controversial one in the series. After attending as a special guest in the elementary school, he comes to the aid of a girl named Sophia, who panics when she gets her first period in the bathroom before going to a talent show with her friend. She says how she doesn't have any tampons or pads to deal with it, so Baymax actually goes to the store and receives recommendations from others in the aisle. After buying the entire aisle, she manages to use one, but she is afraid of telling other people about it because she doesn't want to be looked at differently, like how she said her cousin ended up struggling with. But Baymax helps her come to terms with it, saying that having periods is just a regular act of biology in a human girl, and that while her body may change, she will still be herself. With a boost of motivation, she ends up performing well at the talent show. The subject matter dealt here is something that Turning Red actually did a bit, as May's mother thought that she was going through it at first. But here, it's pushed a little further and talks more about the importance of accepting it. It's actually not bad. It feels fresh this way, and it was pretty nice how it was done. Though, it does have a pun joke at the end of their conversation, which is a little cringy, and it was a little strange to see the transgender person literally wearing a pride flag t-shirt. It just seemed a little on the nose, but still, it was cute. But everyone just needs to calm down about this, like seriously. People are review bombing the show on IMDb just because of this. Anyway, episode 4 is titled Mabita. It's about a young man running a food truck where he specializes in fish stew and soups. He also has a crush on a guy named Yukio who makes homemade applesauce in the food market. He seems to develop an allergy to the fish products, however, which causes severe swelling and itchiness all over. After he accidentally drives his customers away, he attempts to get away from Baymax after he recommends a shot to control his allergy. When recovering, he reveals to him that it was family generation that he's been running the fish business, and that he doesn't want to let it go. Baymax encourages him to do so, as change is an important thing that every human has to go through eventually. And so, he expands his menu to include new food items and musters up the courage to ask out Yukio. As you can tell by this point, each episode is following a formula. Baymax helps someone out with a health problem, they have a heartfelt moment, then it concludes. It's a little generic, but it works for what it is. It's literally slice of life. However, this changes a bit with episode 5. The 5th is titled Yachi. We've seen a cat in a couple shots from the previous episodes, and now he's actually the main focus in this one. He's a stray cat that accidentally swallows an AirPod from a man's sushi plate, and Baymax attempts to get it out of him. The whole episode is very Looney Tune-esque, such as a character trying to get away from another character as they chase each other around with little goofy moments in between. Though the cat seems to long for a mouse? I'm not sure if it's to eat or play with it. It was a little odd because it looked like the cat was just a feral animal, but then they tried to humanize it by making him put together a little mouse thingy made out of dirt and buttons, and yeah, it was a little weird. Anyway, Baymax eventually gets him cornered to a warehouse where he manages to get the AirPod out. However, he runs out of battery at that moment and doesn't make it in time to plug himself in. The cat, being, well, a cat, simply takes the lollipop and leaves him to be, ending it on a cliffhanger. Episode 6 is simply titled Baymax. Hiro notices that he didn't return that night, and so he assumes that he lost battery somewhere and went offline. So he gathers up all the characters that we've previously seen in the last episodes to help him find him. They all find the cat, who leads him to the warehouse where it is set to be blown apart by construction workers. Mobita and Cass distract him with food and coffee, whereas Sophia uses her yo-yo trick from the talent show to break into the warehouse. Hiro uses his nanobots from the movie as well to help hold up the crate, which is cool to incorporate, but why couldn't he just use the bots to put the crate to the side? He didn't need to have his little bots holding it up, especially when he himself said he couldn't hold it for very long. Anyway, they get inside and Kiko uses her new muscle buildup to help lift up Baymax, though time almost runs out and he becomes stuck in the shaft. But the cat goes to the top of the roof, which causes the construction workers to delay the explosion, mainly because the main guy in charge is a cat person and doesn't want to kill it for no reason. So they get Baymax out, charge him up, and they happily get back home. I really liked this one because it was smart how they managed to bring everyone back together. They weren't just one-off characters. They all served their purpose being here, and it was pretty cool. Overall, it was a nice slice of life series. Sure, it was a bit repetitive and formulaic, but for what it was, I enjoyed it. The animation is also well done too. Considering that this isn't the budget of a full-length movie, they still put plenty of effort into the backgrounds and facial expressions. There was some times where the textures looked a little bit off, but it didn't really bother me. It was nice to see Baymax and these characters again after all these years, and it only makes me wish they'll make a proper sequel in the future. I'm giving Baymax a light 7 out of 10. Alright guys, that's my review. I hope you all enjoyed. I will be covering the movie Chicken Hair and the Hamster of Darkness on my channel next. It's an animated movie that's on Netflix right now, and after Marmaduke, I'm sure anything is better than that. So, I'm curious about it and I hope you all check it out. I'll see you all next time.
Tu bois son dit